ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but I bet it was for a significant amount of money.
Still ridiculous.
Yeah, but fun. I'd watch it. Look, Jake Paul wants to test himself against actual, not just world champion, but one of the greatest of all time.
Really fought, and it wasn't fixed. Jake Paul would not survive 45 seconds.
I don't know about that. I think it would take a few rounds.
Really?
But yeah. First of all, Jake is a lot bigger. Jake's a lot bigger.
But what way would they fight?
Well,
It's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started up. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It makes no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at. Right.
Joe Rogan was left absolutely stunned when he heard Jake Paul had offered Francis Ngannou a fight after the Gervonta Davis bout got cancelled. On his podcast, Rogan called the idea crazy and borderline reckless, questioning whether Jake really knew the danger he was stepping into. He reminded listeners that Ngannou isn't just a boxer. He's one of the most feared punchers in combat sports history. Still, Rogan admitted that if the fight ever happens, it would be a jaw-dropping spectacle for fans worldwide.
Nikista calls Francis. This is Francis telling the story. Nikista calls Francis and says, hey, we need your help. We need an opponent for Jake. Tank is out. And Francis says, all right. Francis says, well, how can I help you? Nikista says, well, we're looking at an opponent for Jake. Tank Davis is out. And Francis says, all right, but specifically, how can I help you? Nikista takes a third swing at the bat. He says, well, we need an opponent. We need a boxer. We need a partner. We need somebody to fight Jake. Tank is out. And Francis asks him again, okay, what?
After Jake Paul's exhibition with Gervonta Davis collapsed due to Davis's legal troubles, Paul's team quickly searched for a new opponent. One shocking name that emerged was Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion known for his terrifying power, massive size, and knockout reputation. A matchup with Ngannou would be both risky and explosive.
I think the fight is going to be completely canceled and rescheduled, and now we have potential opponent names and some people being ruled out coming into today. This is not a joke. It was said by Mike Coppinger and others that the number one candidate to replace Tank Davis in a Jake Paul fight, probably on a different date, was going to be Francis Ngannou. What the But we have an update on that and other potential names that Jake could fight. Again, I think on a separate date, and why I think the Jake and Tank fight is completely off. No more, maybe, no more, we don't think it'll happen.
Michael Bisping highlighted the massive size difference in the rumored fight between Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou, noting how shocking the shift was from Gervonta Davis, a lightweight, to Ngannou, a heavyweight monster. Bisping explained that Paul went from targeting one of the smallest fighters in boxing to one of the biggest and most powerful men in combat sports. He emphasized that the leap isn't just about skill or record, but about sheer physicality, mass, reach, and power. According to Bisping, it's a move that transforms the fight from risky to downright dangerous for Jake Paul.
Mike Tyson, who's 58, Anderson Silva, who was way past his prime, people like Nate Diaz, who were way smaller. Gervonta Davis really did take the piss. I mean, that was just the craziest shout ever. To go from fighting Gervonta Davis, way smaller, to now boxing Francis Ngannou. I mean, listen, if he does it, fair play. But I just call number one bullshit on this brother, because I don't see this happening. No.
This is number one bullshit.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Nate Diaz, yeah, 100%. I mean, he beat him once already. I'm sure Nate Diaz would love to get another big payday, because obviously boxing on Netflix and going up against Jake Paul, given his success, given the name that he has, and given the magnitude of his events, Nate Diaz will get paid an absolute fortune once again. We know that it wasn't too long ago, Jake Paul was talking about boxing Anthony Joshua. And that never came to fruition. There's absolutely no way he would box Anthony Joshua. If he did, if he was to do something like that, whether it be Anthony Joshua or Francis Ngannou, I'd give him his props. I'd give him his credit. And you never know. Maybe he would do it just for the clout. Because in many ways it would be, sorry about the airport notifications, it would be an admirable thing to do. And it will be Jake Paul taking on somebody bigger.
Francis Ngannou revealed that Jake Paul's team unexpectedly contacted him to replace Gervonta Davis, leaving him completely surprised. He explained that the offer came out of nowhere and didn't align with his current career plans. Although money was mentioned, Ngannou made it clear that it wasn't about the payday. He turned down the proposal, saying the terms and timing made little professional sense. Ngannou questioned how moving from Davis to him was considered logical, stressing that for him, a fight must have real competitive and professional purpose.
Jake to replace Javante, I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused, I wasn't expecting that at all. And he said, yeah, Jake Paul, he's fighting. And I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm.
Former UFC champion Daniel Cormier delivered a strong warning to Jake Paul about the potential dangers of facing Francis Ngannou. Cormier emphasized Ngannou's terrifying knockout power, vast experience, and physical dominance, calling the matchup a serious mismatch. He cautioned that Paul has never faced a striker of Ngannou's caliber, someone capable of ending a fight with a single punch. According to Cormier, stepping into the ring with a heavyweight built for destruction isn't entertainment, it's a high-risk gamble. He stressed that this fight isn't about fame or money, it's about survival. The risk, Cormier said, far outweighs the reward.
Goes from fighting Gervonta Davis to calling out Francis Ngannou. Jake Paul don't want those problems. I can't say it any different. Jake Paul does not want any Francis Ngannou problems. He don't. He does not want those issues. While I think it's crazy and I credit him for doing that, and I'm surprised he did that, this could be a ploy. Him poking out his chest, saying, I want Francis. He don't want those Francis Ngannou problems. I don't care what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou. Jake Paul gets in there with Francis. Francis will knock his head off this planet. You don't want those Francis problems. I watched Francis put down Tyson Fury. Sure, Anthony Joshua beat him. But even if Jake got power, I don't think he got power to be dealing with Francis. Because all it takes is for one.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what you think about this matchup.